Hello everyone, and thanks for joining as I demo for you today an advanced report that I created using the newly released version of IBM's Cognos Analytics 11.1.7. The report is entitled Incentive Compensation Management, and it takes aim at providing insight to executive managers on how variable compensation within their company is being allocated out across its different bank branch locations and what performance risks have been factored in when making these decisions. So with the creation of this particular advanced report, I'm proud to showcase the use of a variety of different visualizations and functions within Cognos. Mainly, as you can see here, crosstabs, combination dual access bar charts, geospatial maps, repeater tables, as you can see down here, prompts, the ranking function, and conditional formatting examples, as you see here in the green and red. The report is broken up into visualizations by state, and you can select which state you want to choose by clicking on the value prompt up here. I've got it defaulted to California, so let's use this to summarize what the report actually shows. To begin, we have a crosstab here on the top left showing us essentially a list of the different branch numbers or branch IDs, the classified metro area, in this case Los Angeles or San Diego, the name of the branch manager, and then our measures across total incentive, which is the compensation amount received by each branch manager for the branch, reversed incentive, which is the amount given back after factoring in employee errors made throughout the calendar year, net incentive, which is the amount actually received physically by each branch, and then other key KRIs and KPIs that are deciding factors, such as the number of customer complaints received by the customers of that branch, volume of customer visits to each branch, and an overall calculated percentage of this for us to compare. The data in the crosstab is a great place to start and is useful to see each branch and its overall numbers at a 20,000 foot level. But to dive deeper and gain more insight, the dual axis bar chart here shows us a comparison across all the branches and allows us to determine a few key comparisons. On the top bar chart here, you can compare total incentive versus net incentive and determine that any large gaps in the two would signify a branch that forfeited a large amount of its initial compensation allocation, as they most likely had more human errors, customer complaints, etc., which affected their performance. For example, if we look at branch number 107, they started with an initial allocation up here of $95,000 in compensation, but only ended up netting $40,000 in compensation, most likely due to a high number of errors and complaints by customers that severely reduced their potential amount to be received. On the bottom bar chart, we can dive deep even further as there is the number of customer complaints versus the number of customer visits or volumes to each branch to determine if perhaps there is a linear relationship between the two. For example, if we look at branch 106, we see that they had the highest number of customer complaints coming in at 721. And without further visualization, you'd probably be quick to conclude that perhaps they performed the worst out of the 6 branches. However, when you bring in the number of visits data or volumes, you see that branch 106 also had the highest volume of customer visits, which is very insightful. To the right, I've included a geospatial map that color codes 3 individual states and the same with the metro areas listed to compare the compensation numbers. As you can quickly see from the visualization, Arizona is shaded the darkest purple, which tells us that they received the most total incentive compensation. In addition, the circle representing the metro area of Tucson is also shaded the darkest green, telling us that they received the most total incentive out of all the different metro areas. This map is great to show an initial high-level view to an executive in charge of multiple geographical areas and allows us to make some initial conclusions on where the compensation is. At the bottom of the report, I've constructed a repeater table with some conditional formatting to highlight some of the key insights that we get from the data. The repeater table lists each branch ID, the branch manager's name, and branch KPIs that are used to help calculate the amount of compensation each branch is awarded. In addition, I've used the rank function to set the order of the 6 branches in that specific state as to where the branch placed in compensation received and customer complaints. These rankings are conditionally formatted to easily show the number 1 ranking branch for total compensation received, which is highlighted and bordered in green, and to also show the #1 ranking branch for the highest number of complaints received from their customers, which is highlighted and bordered here in red. By visualizing the data in this format, it helps to generate a few insights that can be presented back to the executives that would be useful for them to use to request further analysis. For example, if I was an executive at this organization, I'd want to understand more why branch 106 is ranked second in overall compensation received, but was the unfortunate winner of the #1 rank for the most customer complaints. I'd probably task human resources and the branch manager with explaining how they would justify this initial allocation of compensation and if the reversal of the compensation is in line with the number of errors and complaints that this branch had. So to conclude, this is a very adaptable report that you can use not only for this example of analyzing compensation, say for HR or for an executive team, but this report also translates well across multiple industries and perhaps could be used to compare sales and revenue data for an e-commerce company, potentially payment processing KPIs at a fintech organization, or even branch performance at a retail bank or financial institution. I'd greatly appreciate your feedback on this below in the comments section, and also a like or two if you're so inclined. Please also subscribe if you're interested in this type of content or anything else related to IBM Cognos Analytics, and keep an eye out for my upcoming video on the 11.1.7 changes to the reporting features in Cognos. Thanks and see you soon.